Hey, everybody.
Leave that in.
Huh? Oh, fuck it, leave it in. It's like the news reporters. Remember how many times have we done that? The whole, like I so pale. Oh, have you seen that one weird one where the guy's he's like a younger reporter and you send her. He's like, oh, you probably got to bleep this out, but he's like, have you found her? I'll find her, then I'll fuck her, and then he says,
Jeez.
and then they cut back to the studio and they're like, we're so sorry for that technical difficulty. And did you think
Yeah,
that guy? What do you think happened to him? He
he
was on
probably got
live.
fired.
He probably got fired. He probably beat him with a stick. That was on live TV, like in the morning.
Was this like a missing person?
Yes, and that's the thing is, it was over a missing person. It was like a 22-year-old girl or something.
No good.
But anyway, welcome to another episode of Nightmare Road. I, of course, am one of your hosts, Jodi Arias, and I am what?
Nothing.
And I am here with my co-host, the Slasher Basher, Lauda. What are you drinking tonight?
Monster.
I'm drinking the drink of your people.
Like tequila or something? Oh, that stuff is so good. I get it in the can.
That's the one where you have to like peel that sticker and then
You used to have to peel a sticker, not anymore.
There's no more sticker?
I don't think here. Maybe in Mexico. I don't think in the US they have a sticker anymore.
You gotta peel that sticker, and sometimes if it was like in a cold area, it had that condensation on it. So when you pull it, sometimes it'd slip and your knuckle would get cut on the edge of the can.
Yeah.
And then there was that super sharp little opening where you had to like gotta be careful you don't slice your mouth open. Today's episode is on Jodi Arias. And what a weird lady.
Yep. Crazy lady.
Crazy lady. I thought she was pretty. And then what?
Then what? Go ahead. Let us know. And then
they showed like pictures in a courtroom of her without clothes on, and then you're like, ew. She looks like Groot.
they're not flattering pictures. She was pretty enough to like, coast a little bit. But that was actually a problem. It was a problem for her growing up.
Do you know what I expected when I started looking into this case?
What?
I was expecting Jodi Arias was raised in the wilderness of Russia, where she had to fight to survive. She was raised by cats, and then she was raised by wolves. And the only thing she had was a broken beer bottle to fend off the bears in the fort. And that's what I was expecting, right? Like a shitty childhood. Her cave burned down.
Mm-hmm.
Her mom was like part-time, like not even stripper, but a stripper pole where like the strippers would just kind of like slide off of her, and she just crying.
No, she had a pretty normal childhood. When she became a teenager is when she kind of
started looping out.
Yeah.
Her dad, like, what happened to her father? Her dad died in a ghost attack. Just like
well
during World War II, and I was like, what the fuck?
I'm sure he would have preferred that over this.
Overseeing those pictures in court.
Oh my god. Okay, we'll get there. So she had a normal childhood. Which one do you like best?
I like the mango flavor,
but
I also like guayaba.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think the strawberry banana is my.
I was gonna go to that one, but there's banana in it, and I didn't want people to think I was gay.
Yeah, I would have thought that.
Yeah, so I didn't say it.
Yeah.
So the weird thing about Jodi is that, like, she had a good childhood, right? Like normal. I didn't say good because I don't know, just normal.
It was normal for the most part. Her dad was a little bit violent sometimes. He had like pushed her into a wall a couple times. Jodi.
Yeah, but have you seen her? Like,
Well, she's a psycho, so I'm sure she was just like, "Yay!" But
um,
he had pushed her into a wall.
wait.
Yeah. And apparently her mom would like carry a wooden spoon in her purse, and like give a couple little whacks here and there if they were like misbehaving or whatever.
Obviously not enough.
Yeah, obviously not, because she started threatening suicide as a teenager. Started threatening suicide when she wouldn't like get her way, basically. So yeah,
Que me maten.
um, pretty much. She was, you know, kind of normal, I guess, like as a teenager with like her attitude or whatever. Not the whole threatening suicide thing, but everything else, she was just kind of angry and whatever. Um, but they did call the cops on her because they found out that she was growing marijuana in Tupperware on like the roof of her house or something.
Oh shit.
Yeah. So
Yeah, but that's still. I mean, it's not like she was Walter White, you know.
yeah. Yeah, and she was in California.
Yeah, we have to get this off the roof. You know, it's like a pizza. You know. Anyway, so that's her childhood, right? Just, I guess, little, not enough to like for what she did. So
No, not like that. Her parents, her mom or her dad, I guess, I don't know, whatever. They did say that she was kind of weird, or it was kind of weird when she got into relationships. Like she kind of made the relationship her whole identity. She was a
yeah,
very people pleaser.
but that's also very typical, like of a teenager.
Yeah,
Because you know you write the name on the fucking notebook.
in the
You know,
heart.
in the heart, you take their last name. You're like, oh, Jodi Armstrong. You know, did you ever do this in school? Like, you ever have somebody come over with a type of sorcery, like a divination tool, to you as a kid?
With the little thingies.
Yeah, they came over and they're like, pick a color. And you're like, huh?
Yeah,
Pick a number. 15. 1, 2, 3, 4. You know.
I used to make those all the time.
You know what I thought they were
What?
for the longest time? I thought they were pencil holders.
Excuse me? What are you talking about?
You know how you used to stick like your fingers in it? And if you flip it
Mhm.
over, there's those 4 holes. And then I was always trying like, that's gonna tip over. I don't think there's enough like for us to actually hold a pencil. I was
Did,
stupid.
did kids not play with you? Or?
Did I? No,
Oh, okay.
not with shit. Not with shit like that. Like one time I took one home, and
I'll make one for you. It's okay.
fucking make one right now. No, one time I took one home, and and it had like different colors, and I just thought it was the coolest thing. So then I ended up just drawing like little eyes on it, and then just using one side, so it was like a little mouth. But anyway, so I took it home, and then my dad's like, "¿Qué es eso?" He's like, "Oh, es que mira que decís." He's like, nothing. He ripped it up. It's brujeria.
I mean, fortune telling.
Yeah, it's fortune telling. Back to Jodi. So yeah, so Jodi was somebody described her, and I don't know who the fuck this person was. I was watching like all these little clips here and there. Somebody said she was obsessive. You know how if you, let's say that you told her like, "Hey, I'll pick you up at 3." She was like at the window at 1 and just staring at the fucking window. Yeah. It's like, it's 2 hours, right?
She was very she would get very attached very easily
to ideas, not just to like people.
Yeah, to everything. She would get very attached to everything. She was very easily manipulated, apparently. Or yeah, that too. She was also very impressionable. She, when she was a teenager, she had a boyfriend that was like same as Bobby something. He worked like at a gas station or something like that, and everything was like okay. He had said that he wanted to move to like Southern California to be closer to the he was a vampire.
Of course he was. Why wouldn't he be?
A goth vampire that worked at a gas station.
Oh, jeez. Goth man that worked at a gas station?
Yeah.
Ding, ding.
So he wanted to move to Southern California to be closer.
The hot dogs are not ready yet.
Yeah.
I think they'll be ready in 4 minutes.
I had hair like that.
Yeah, hair like that now.
So,
you can cover up like 45 faces with that hair.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty long. Anyway.
Yeah. So he wanted to move closer to the vampires. She was like, yeah, that's too much for me. Not that he was a vampire, that he wanted to move. So she
To
broke up
move
with
to move closer to the vampires.
him. Yeah, to like the real vampires.
Oh, you probably watched the movie The Lost Boys. You ever seen that?
It's been way too long.
Ah, it's
But
such a good movie. People look strange. Anyway, Santa Clarita. The one thing I can never forget about this place is all those damn vampires. Um, so yeah, so she was she was weird. Also, like if she wanted something, I think she's dead. Like when she wanted something, they said that she wouldn't stop talking about it because she wouldn't let it go. Like I
yeah,
want it. Follow you around saying the same shit. Like holy shit.
yeah,
Like I
just
get
very.
it.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
what do you think that is? Like, do you think that's just is there a healthy way to be that way?
Um, define healthy, because I know that there's people. Because okay, so like I hyperfixate on things.
Yes, that's the term I was looking for. Hyperfixation.
Yeah, but it's not. It doesn't turn into obsession. So like if I pick up a hobby, I'll be like all about it, and then within a couple months, I'm like, maybe not anymore. But eventually, I'll pick it up again. You know what I mean? But it
Yeah.
does not become ridiculous. Like it doesn't, occupy my entire day. I'm not like only thinking about that. And that's kind of how she was, especially
Yeah.
when it came to boyfriends.
With boyfriends.
Hmm.
And man, so I was listening to a couple of things that I thought it was interesting that they were talking about a phone call and how the guy, I guess, like would grab her ass or something, just like grab her ass, and then she said something like, "Do you do that so that people know that I belong to you?" And then the guy's like, "Yeah," and the guy on the phone, by the way, he was like, "Yeah, yeah, that's right." And he didn't seem like too like interested. And she goes, "Yeah, I noticed you do that around guys because you want them to know that I'm yours." And it's like, geez, like she came up with that idea on her own. So
Yeah.
they asked her about that in the courtroom, and she goes, "Yeah, that's what he would do." It's like, geez. So
Yeah. Is this it was with Travis?
yes,
So she was weird when it came to that. When she met him. So the way that she met him, she had started like a new job as like a paralegal. Um, and there was an event that was going on. A bunch of those people from that company or whatever were hanging outside of like they were hanging out outside of Rainforest Cafe in Las Vegas,
uh huh.
and they started talking there, and like immediately, huh?
She started talking to him there.
I think he started talking to her. I think he went up to her,
Oh,
and immediately he was kind of just attracted to her or whatever it was, and he invited her to like another event that they were going to have for this whole paralegal thing, except that like event was only for like the higher up, like people.
yeah.
She had just started, so it was kind of weird that she was going, but he invited her.
She's like, "Come on
um
down." Anyway.
yeah, so that's when like kind of this whole thing started. She had a boyfriend when they met. She was living with somebody actually,
Jeez, she's a
and
cheater.
yeah.
What a fucking slut.
Yeah, so let's go, I guess, to that guy first. His name was Daryl, or is Daryl, and he was 45, I believe, and she was 21 or something like that. Very weird.
Okay. Yeah.
Um,
No, I get it.
he was recently divorced, and he was like an alcoholic and all these things.
No, that's what I was gonna say. Like, I get it. He has fucking issues.
Yeah, yeah. For whatever reason, she fell for him. They got together. They ended up
That's very
buying a
common.
house. Yeah, they ended
It's
up buying a
fucked up.
house in 2005, June 2005, and then she met him in September 2006. She met Travis.
Yeah, that fucking Travis dude. He was jeez Louise. So from what I gathered from not just the phone calls, but the way he seemed like he was a guy that um was a douchebag, like he was
Hmm.
a douche, and but he was one of those that had low self-esteem. So when he got attention, he held on. You know how there's those kind of people where they have low self esteem, but whenever somebody gives them even a little bit of attention, they have to pursue it. Like they can't they can't even stay in a relationship because you know the they're like, fuck, somebody blinks and then they're like, oh shit, this person's into me, and they'll kind of go after it because they
Mhm.
have like no. That's what that dude reminded me of, just somebody that just no self control. Just
He was kind of just like back and forth with everybody, including her.
yeah,
So going back to um, when they met, she met him, and very soon afterwards, they started a sexual relationship. She had told him about all of her problems with her boyfriend, and he was like, "Hey, being a
there you go.
Mormon helped me." And it was kind of his sales pitch,
Mhm.
to turn her. And so he took her to this like convention or whatever, like a Mormon thing, like a week after they met. And then he kind of like challenged her to like read the Book of Mormon, do all
Yeah.
these things, whatever. Um, and not even 2 months later, she was like, "Hey, I want to get baptized."
What's crazy is that that's the Mormon culture. I mean, where I'm at, um, this state and the next state over are
Mhm.
Mormons. It's a big Mormon population, so you do see that a lot. Typically, you see that more from the girls. It wasn't very it wasn't uncommon for a girl to like invite some guy either from work or from school, and she was good looking, and they usually invite this frumpy looking like jackass, like just come over to the church, and then they start like dating, and then this guy's, yeah, read the Book of Mormon with me and then get baptized. So then it's this whole thing where within a couple of weeks the guy's getting baptized and then she's gone. She's like
Mhm.
moved on to the next guy, and you see that a lot. There was a guy who was pretty upset with a girl because this girl was doing the same thing to him, and I'm like, ooh, you gotta watch those Mormons. So she did that to him. So then he confronted her. Like, it was fucking awkward. So he's like, so you're just a hooker for your religion? you know so anyway, but that's how it is. It's
Mhm.
they try to bring people in because there's also a lot of money that they make off of
Yeah.
their members. But yeah, and they don't like necessarily tell their members like, go do this, but it's very encouraged. Invite people.
See, not even he was Mormon when
Yeah.
he was a kid. He only started following, I guess, his grandma to church or whatever because he wanted to get away from his home life. His home life was the complete opposite of Jodi Arias. He was one of 8 kids. His parents, I think, were really into meth. Um, his house super super dirty. He like developed a phobia of cockroaches because it was just they were everywhere. So he went to go like live with his grandma. Started going to church with her when he was 10. I think he got baptized when he was 10. And then he was like fully in it by the time he was like 16. And then he did like his missions thing in Colorado when he
Yeah.
was of age.
They fully like submit. So they believe that the age of accountability is 8, so you can already like atone for your sins, by baptism, and now you're in, right? And then they rank you like, okay, now you're 12, now we can give you the priesthood of blah blah blah, and then they all put their hands on your head, and then they start treating you like you're super important, and then they're like, holy shit, and they tell you like, by the way, you're better than the kids at your school that don't have the priesthood, don't have the Abrahamic priesthood.
It's
And
just
then
crazy.
it's pretty nuts. The culture is fucking weird.
Well,
Um,
just everything is like I was telling you earlier, like the parking lots that are
yeah,
just
yep.
everywhere that only
Mormons only.
which I don't know. I guess because I never paid attention to that, I never like realized that that's what it was until you were like,
Yeah. By the way,
"Oh, look
like
at
if you're Mormon, you can park there. If not, good luck. You can't go a block away. Anyway, so no, it's it's one hell of a culture, and it does, and this plays in a little bit with the story, the way it goes. It's just that way that culture is. You have the Abrahamic priesthood, and then but the big one is the Melchizedek priesthood. That one means that you're top of the top. You know, they brag about it, and they're like, "I'm temple worthy." And then that gives you like bragging rights. People will give you better jobs in those kind of states. Like, oh, you're Mormon? And they go, yeah. Oh, I'm temple worthy. Like, oh, okay. Like, I'm gonna consider you for the executive job. And that's the way it is. I had a friend who worked at a company who was the company was owned by Mormons, right? So whenever he wanted a raise, whenever he wanted a raise, he would be like, "Yeah, I've been starting to read the Book of Mormon," and they get super excited, like, "Oh, really?" And he goes, "Yeah." So, and then they would give him a raise. Did you read it? And he goes, "Yeah, I read a couple pages." By the way, I read the whole Book of Mormon.
Travis Alexander read it over 20 times.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but
yeah, it's such a bizarre culture. And then so when you have somebody like that is really like involved into this thing where the culture is, of course you're gonna feel a little bit superior, because that's what I got out of this guy, was that he felt like he was superior to her. So he had no okay, let's continue with the relationship. I kind of went on a tangent there.
Yeah. So she, within 2 months, is like, "Hey, I want to be baptized," and he's like, "Cool, let's do it." And in this, I have the picture from when they're standing there. I blocked out the other people's faces; they have nothing to do with it. But look at his face.
Oh
Okay,
shit, look at them.
well, like he's already regretting it. You know?
Yeah, look at, are they, damn, are they wearing temple garments? That's what that looks like.
That's where they are.
Yeah. See how much
And
that, you
yeah.
know what that means?
No.
That means that now you're officially better than everybody.
Okay,
Like,
so the whole temple thing, he had been kind of like banned from going in, I guess, like for bits at a time, because he was having sexual encounters with other Mormons. And so
mhm.
he would feel guilty, he would confess, and they'd be like, "Yeah, you lose temple privileges. Like
Yeah.
you can't come in here." And so then there was like this disconnect between him and like the whole community or whatever. And he just kept doing it and like kept confessing, which like just like stop, right? Um, but then he met this girl and he's like, "Hey, I don't have to confess because, she's not a Mormon." Um, so by this time when she was getting baptized, which he baptized her, so when he baptized her, a couple hours later was when they, you know,
Yeah,
they
of
they,
course.
they did it for the first
Yeah.
time. They had already done other things.
Like
Um,
what?
they had already engaged in mouth things with each other.
Oh,
Um,
like kissing?
yeah, yeah, pants. And then yeah, they had already done that. And actually, it was weird because they were long distance. Technically, he lived in Arizona, and she lived in California. So they would meet in the middle at one of his friends' house, and yeah, right in the middle at one of his friends' house, and then that's where they would like do all
Do
their
mouth
stuff.
stuff.
Yeah, mouth to pants. So she gets baptized, whatever. A couple hours after she gets baptized, they're like, "Hey, let's consummate, the baptism," and so they do. Um,
Consummate the baptism? I don't think that's a thing.
yeah, well, it's to them. Um, and then it happened, and then that's where it all started.
Jeez Louise.
Yep. Um, there was always messages, between them. It wasn't just doing stuff like. There was always talk of grinding. I
Oh,
Yeah. Which like if you're already doing it, what do you want to
what's grinding? Yeah,
what
what
do
are
you
you
want
doing?
to grind for? What are you doing? Are you in
Yeah,
public or something?
yeah,
Um,
it's stupid. It's like, oh, you know what I call her? What I call her the dry hump. Anyway.
so yeah, they were doing all that, whatever. They were kind of feeling guilty because now they were both Mormon and they were both breaking the rules. By the way, when she started doing stuff with him, she went and told her boyfriend, Daryl, the one that she was living with,
Yeah.
that she couldn't do anything with him anymore because it went against like the LDS rules or whatever. He was just like, "What are you talking about?" Yeah, she wasn't Mormon yet. She was like,
He's
she was
like, huh? Can you say that again? Because he's old.
because he's old. Yeah.
Yeah. So no, it's bizarre. So they get into the relationship. It only lasted 5 months, right?
Yeah, around 4 or 5 months. The
And
dating, the
the
whole,
date, the
all
whole
the
thing was,
grinding was like a year and a half.
yeah. So yeah, the bumping and grinding.
Yeah,
Um,
somebody
so
called it the Provo push.
the what?
Provo push.
Oh, okay. Um, so what's funny is that this whole thing lasted 5 months, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the relationship did, and she was already like exhibiting very like toxic behaviors within those 5 months. Um, there was a phone call where they were just having a conversation, and this guy, I swear, because she was talking, they were working somewhere together, and then she's like, "Yeah, he's this guy says that you don't look at him, you don't talk to him, that you just stare through him and you keep walking." And he was, because he was like, "Yeah, he sounded pretty intimidated, huh?" And she's like, and she's like giggling, and he goes, huh, "Right? He sounded pretty like he was pretty intimidated by me, huh?" And she goes, "Yeah, he was." And then he said it again, like 3 minutes into the call again, like they kept talking. And then she goes, "Yeah." And then I noticed that you do grab my butt, and you must like it, huh? And he goes, "Yeah, yeah." How intimidated do you think he was? And it was like so. It was, and but by the way, um, from what I saw from the comments, somebody said I would have to verify this. So from the comments, it says, by the way, at this point, she had already slashed his tires. And they're having this conversation.
She was crazy. She did a
You
lot
know,
of crazy things.
so that's nuts. I'm like, what the fuck? And then somebody said, yeah, I heard that in the court. Blah blah blah. And I was like, oh.
Yeah, he put up with a lot. Just just to keep banging. Basically.
Yeah, I mean, she looked like a wild one, like the one that you want to keep around, and then they'll kill you eventually.
Yeah. Which that's, I think maybe that's like what he wanted or was like into. Maybe it was like suppressed because of all of his stuff. But
I think what it was it's like I said earlier, the self-esteem thing. Because if you're gonna have to reinforce, like, he was intimidated, huh? Hey, he was intimidated. This is somebody that is lacking, like I said, self-worth or like self-esteem. They want you to know, like, hey, I intimidated that guy. Like, it's something to be proud of. So I think that the amount of attention that she was giving him, to the point where we're not together anymore, but here she was calling. And what it showed in the phone records was that every single time she called, he picked up, even after the thing got really bad.
yeah.
He picked up, and then she was at the house.
So this is just like all over the place. We're kind of just like bouncing from like beginning to middle to end to beginning again. But she did do a lot of crazy stuff, from a couple months in to obviously the very end. Sure, maybe. I don't know. But so
he's like, say my name as you slash my tires.
There was a rope involved at one point. So she did a lot of like weird stuff. She slashed his tires. Yeah. She slashed his tires. She would go in through his doggy door.
That's what I. Yeah. So, okay, this was what was interesting.
This was after they broke up, by the way.
Yes, that's what I was gonna say.
But yeah.
So this guy would always, I guess, his friends would say that, yeah, this girl, we told him that this girl's creepy, she was a stalker, and they're like, why do you always answer the door whenever she knocks? And he said, because if I don't answer, she'll just break in. It's like,
she would sneak into, when he had broken up with her at one point, and God, this is so like, the timeline that we're giving is just not good at all.
I'm gonna do a part 2 just for the actual crime.
like we haven't gone in order at all. Like,
who cares? Who gives a fuck?
Well,
watch something else. Watch Blippi.
Blippi.
Watch the gross videos where he shits on that guy.
He's not Blippi anymore. Actually, there's a new Blippi.
Oh, a Chino Blippi.
Yeah, he's actually he does like he has this like hashtag that is like Blippi for the kids, Clayton for the moms.
Yeah, and he's like, "Hey there, moms. Today we're gonna go down to this museum. Colors. Today's fucking color is red, like the bloodshed, like that one time that intruder broke into my house and I had to shoot him dead." Anyway,
yeah, like
hashtag Blipster.
Blippi talk.
Creepy girl. They had a relationship. She was obsessed. He seemed to be just as obsessed because why would you keep this person around? You know, if he was that, he would tell his friends, "Oh, she's so creepy," but no restraining order. Like, okay, dude.
No, also, I think he just liked it. I think he liked the toxicity of it. Because it was really bad. She would go in again through the doggy door. She would sneak into his house, like if he wasn't there, and she would sleep in his bed. So like sometimes he'd get home, and she would already be like in his bed asleep.
Do you think that he would? Do you think that he like came into the room one time and then he caught her? She's laying there. She has like his boxers like splayed across her face, you know, and she's doing stuff.
Maybe whoever did that is.
And he's like, "What do you think
you
you're doing?
Be ashamed of yourself." So she would sneak in, sleep everywhere, whatever. By the way, he had roommates who were useless. You know.
I didn't know he had roommates.
Mm-hmm. He had roommates that literally did not know where he was for those like 4 or 5 days that nobody heard from him. I have no idea. I have no idea. Useless, completely useless.
Like, you expect them to have backup? Like they would back him up? Like, we'll back you up, motherfucker. This bitch comes in.
What? Like, do you not? Well, besides that, at the very do you not have a nose? Like you can't walk into the house and smell the decomposing body upstairs. Like
it's like, oh, it smells like Jodi was here.
Ew. Okay. So another thing that she would do that was insane, she would go into his house when he wasn't there, of course, and move stuff around.
I heard that.
Mm-hmm. She would just move things around, I guess, like so that he gets there and like, oh, she was here, you know, like Jodi was here again. And she was just like never gone, you know, she was always there. There was always something moved. His bed
and it was stupid shit too. It was dumb shit.
And then she would check his computer. She would check his social media. One time she checked his MySpace and found sexually explicit messages between him and a married Mormon woman.
Ooh,
and instead and instead of breaking up with him, she used that to her advantage and was like, "Hey, we need to be exclusive because you can't keep doing this." And he was just like, "All right,
fine."
Yeah, well, didn't work out well. So they became a couple. They were still meeting up in the middle at the friend's house, and the girl, because it was a couple, right? They were married. Yeah, exactly. Not that Mormons don't do that.
What if he jumped?
So, if you jumped?
What if his friend jumped?
Oh, like on the bed?
On the bed.
Then it counts. It's okay.
Okay.
So they went to this person's house, this married couple's house, right? Their names were Chris and Sky. And Sky got very tired of Jodi very quickly and ended up telling him like, "Hey, you know, like she scares me. Like I don't like her. I don't think it's good for you to be with her." He's like, "Me and Chris have both said, you know, we wouldn't be surprised if they found you dismembered in Jodi's fridge." And then she heard the door creak and she turned around and Jodi was standing there listening to the entire conversation. Yeah. And she was like, "Oh," changed the subject. Jodi was like, "Hey, why aren't you guys in bed yet? Like, why aren't y'all asleep?" In their house, right?
In their own house.
In their house.
What the hell?
And they're like, "Oh, we're just talking, whatever," right? So Jodi leaves. Jodi leaves, walks out of the room. They continue talking about Jodi, like, she's crazy, just leave her, blah blah blah. Travis opens the door because the girl's like, I feel weird. Opens the door and Jodi is standing at the door watching,
Again?
listening, and she's pissed off, right? So this Sky girl is like, yeah, you guys never come to my house again. He's like, she can never come in my house again.
Literally.
Both ways.
Yeah.
So
So,
yeah.
okay, so that happened, right? So they start,
Mhm.
they continue doing that. They broke up. This guy begins to see other girls,
At
right?
some point, yeah. Well,
And
because they couldn't meet at their house, they started going to road trip. They started going on road trips. Um,
that's too much trouble.
yeah, they started going on road trips, and they started checking off things from a book, from a book called "Thousand Places to See Before You Die."
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so he didn't get to the thousand,
I
but
was gonna say, like, what do you think he made it like to number 5?
still, it was. Yeah, they went on a couple trips. Like they had. Let's see, I have some here. I don't know where these come from, but they looked like a normal, in a waterfall type of
He looks like a
thing.
typical Mormon. Mormons have weird faces. They have weird shaped heads. She's attractive.
She
It's just
okay.
what makes.
She looks better as a blonde. Later, I'll show her with brown hair. She looks way better as a blonde.
What I was gonna say is, what she is, so that gives her like at a scale from 1 to 10, that's like a -9,
Yeah.
because like you see that, and then you see like when I look at those pictures, I'm like, yeah, she's attractive, but then you see shark eyes, just
Hmm.
empty, dead, no soul.
Yeah. It's yeah. She was insane. So whatever. They end up breaking up because she finds on one of the road trips that they were on, she looked through his phone, which like just whatever. Looked through his phone and she found text messages between him and a bunch of other girls.
Oh,
So
okay.
she was like, "You're not ready to be in a relationship," which you should have known, but
Yeah, he was a
whatever.
hoe.
Yeah, she knew, but I mean, she didn't care. She was obsessed at this point. Um, so she broke up with him. Oh, let me see.
Mm. That's refreshing. She was probably one of those kind of girls that you just feed like a burrito and gag her. Um, no, what's crazy is that all this shit's going on, so toxic, red flags everywhere, and this guy still fucking holds on. And then I'm like, either this guy is, you know, more desperate than people like to admit, or she was great in bed.
I don't think that. Okay, he wasn't desperate, not for a relationship with her. So she had at one point during the trial said that the only time that she ever felt really like connected to him or like she knew him or was in a relationship was when they were doing stuff. Because
Yeah.
other than that, he didn't really open up. He wasn't really emotional, like with her, towards her. It was only during, you know, intimate moments that he
So
was more.
what I mean by desperate, I don't mean like desperate for her, desperate for like human, like physical touch. There's people out there that will do crazy shit. Like I was saying earlier, will do crazy shit just to get like a girl's attention. There's
Mhm.
guys out there that they'd be sitting there, and if a girl like starts hitting on them, they'll flirt back. Like, what are you doing, dude? Like, are you that desperate are you that attention starved that like you'll take attention from anywhere? Show some fucking self-control. Or the guys that go to I never gotten that. Guys that go to strip clubs are like, oh,
No.
like, well, you've never seen tits before you're gonna pay for it.
Well, what I don't understand is the guys that are in relationships that go to strip clubs. That I more don't understand. I don't get
That yeah, that's even weirder, because like just go home and have them shake them for you. But
like
you know what I'm trying to say? Like,
yeah,
it's
you don't
free.
even have to pay for it.
But anyway, so that's what this guy, like, I get out of it. And then you see a lot of that during the phone call. So anyway, so now we're gonna move to the crime, right?
Hmm. So
Um,
part of the okay, well, let's just okay.
be a part two.
Maybe. So they broke up, right? He went and he started dating this girl from church because now that he broke up with his what did he call her? He called her a three-hole wonder. Now that they broke up,
Yeah.
mhm. Now that they broke up,
I call it the old bowling ball.
yep. Now that they're
Three
done,
holes.
he's like, let me look for a wife. You know, now that he's put himself everywhere. He's like, let me look for a wife and whatever, finds one at church, this girl named
That
Lisa.
should have been my name. The
What?
three hole wonder.
Di- for you?
No, just for like the what that nickname represents. Obviously, a three hole wonder means that somebody that is never full and they just have like a hunger for life, and it's
I see.
wondrous. There you go.
So, either way,
Or two up short.
so he finds this girl, Lisa. She's like, whatever, they're getting along okay. And Jodi obviously is not very happy about it. She finds them making out on the couch because she's standing outside of his house staring through his window.
Whoa, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
What the fuck? Seriously?
She's literally just like at his window staring, and they're making out on the couch, and she's pissed.
Do you think you throw a shoe at her or something? Like, get out of here! Damn it, Jodi!
Apparently, she did that a couple times, where she would just go and like and peek through to see what he was doing, and she would stay there for like hours.
You know what's funny?
What?
You know, in the military, do you know what you call a girl that cheats on her man and she's just a rapid hoe? Just a rampant slut,
I feel like you've told me this before.
They call them Jodies.
Oh, you have not told me that before.
And well, then there's the girls that are, part of the branch themselves, and they just bang everybody. They call them bunnies. They call them barrack bunnies.
Yeah.
But so whenever you see a guy and he's like there with his girl and she's like, oh, I love you, blah blah blah, and you're like, that girl's a fucking Jodi. Like, you could just tell. How could you tell? Because she like winks at you as she walks by.
So she was crazy looking through windows, except he was not a good person either. He was talking to this Lisa girl, but would still call Jodi to engage in phone intercourse. It phone bone, and she what?
Phone boning Matilda.
She ended up recording one of the phone calls, and they played it in court at like max volume. It was like over an hour long.
Over an hour.
Played the whole thing.
Man, that's why whenever you're selected for jury duty, I fucking could imagine you're stuck listening to somebody phone bone for an hour. You're like, geez Louise.
Like, I'd rather, like, can I just not get paid and just go home?
Yeah. Just her, and I just yell shit, so I probably get thrown out.
So during this phone call, she arrived, right? And he made a weird comment. I don't know. He made a really weird comment, saying that she sounded like somebody underage that was going through their first, arrival. And
so fucking weird.
She laughs about it, which is gross also. She laughs about it, and then they just like continue on with their conversation. And later on, she used that as like a, like, he's a pedophile. Like, whatever.
He's a pedophile.
Right. So she moves back. Oh, I don't know if by this point you know that she moved closer to him.
Yeah.
She moved 4 miles away from his house. And yeah.
Was it 4 miles? It was like a 5-minute drive, right? That's what I thought that they said, that that she moved like 5 minutes away from him, so she was like, oh, he's driving past his house.
It was, from what I've read and seen, which by the way, I followed this court case when it was happening. Like, I was watching it on TV every day. I was like in high school. It's like I would get home and I would I've always been into true crime.
Fucking sick. It's so boring. You know.
It's it was a murder case. She was a psycho. Like, what do you mean it was boring?
So fucking boring.
So let me just end. So
So she moved like closer to be with him, like
she
4
moved
miles.
closer. She moved closer to him, and she couldn't afford it. Eventually, ended up leaving. Right. So once she leaves, she has no idea what he's doing. She, is going crazy, I guess, like trying to talk to him or whatever. He's kind of like engaging a little bit.
So he was going to a company thing. They bought tickets for him to go to Cancun. He told her that he's got tickets to go to Cancun. He's gonna take a friend and one person, and I think that she assumed that it was gonna be her, so she was excited. And then he told her he's taking this other girl. He bought a camera for the trip,
Yeah.
and they decided to break the camera in.
They broke it in.
They broke it in. There was pictures of them just like doing funny faces, them in the middle of an act. You see the 3-hole wonder. You see all this. Like, you saw her spirit. So through one of her holes. There's her soul. So yeah, it was just so it was just one of those things where I wonder. Okay, so he was in the shower.
Yeah, first of all, he didn't know she was going to show up to his house. She didn't know. He didn't know. Sorry.
He didn't know.
No. She kept it from him. She had planned, like a date with some other guy named like Ryan or something, to like meet up with him.
To make him jealous.
For an alibi. This was the days she was driving over to Arizona. So she had told her friends, she had told for all of her friends she was going to Utah. And she actually drove to Arizona, did, her whole thing, and then afterwards drove to Salt Lake.
Drove to Salt Lake, and she eventually did an alibi for herself by calling his phone and leaving this message like, "Hey, I'm 100 miles away from you," whatever the fuck she said.
Yeah, 100 miles in the wrong direction.
In the wrong direction, and da 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 da. Anyway, hope you do. And so, one of the things is that she took this camera. I don't know if she didn't know how they work, but
she did. I think she just didn't know it was still on. Like, I think I don't know if she just had it like hanging on her arm when the whole thing was taking place, that it was kind of just like rolling around and taking pictures.
It was rolling around. It was taking pictures. She took a picture of the attack. At some point, she was moving the body, and she accidentally hit it with her foot. And it took a picture of her foot and the body in the background.
Yeah.
And then she realized that the camera was there and that they took pictures. So she took the camera, stuck it in a washing machine, and then washed it.
Left the memory card in there like a dummy.
And that's what it is. So then that's why I said I don't know if she knew how these things worked, because she probably assumed no camera, no pictures, right?
She did know how it worked. Cameras. She called herself a photographer. She had
those pictures were fucking awful.
She had a photography business, right? Even though she was no good at it, and she maintained this whole like that her job was, being a photographer, but she wasn't. She was a waitress. So going back to the day of the murder, she shows up at his house and she's like, "Hey, I'm here to, whatever, see you. And also I need to pick up the money that you owe me." So he's like, "Okay, cool." He writes out a check, leaves it there for her. And then they're like, "Yeah, let's just go to the room," right? So there's pictures of their whole afternoon, pictures of everything, and, all that. Everything. And then there's pictures of him in the shower. And there's some of him sitting in the shower. There's some with him like standing with his back, like facing the camera. He's facing away. And then the very last picture of him alive, I have it. I don't know if you want to see it.
Put it. Big
His
tits.
face, he looks afraid.
That's how Mormons look.
No, he looks
Like I swear, that's how all Mormons walk around looking. You know,
just,
they was talking.
I don't know. This just it's unsettling.
Why is there a square?
There was a logo and I blocked it out.
Oh,
Copyright.
Oh, okay. Anyway, do you think that that's like right before?
Yep, it is.
You know what I would have done, bro?
What?
You know what I would have done, bro?
What would you do?
You know what I would have done, bro? If she were to come down with a knife, I would have immediately used my kung fu to straighten my body and just get out of the way and roll with it and let the knife, I turn my shoulder, let the flat part of the knife just slide across my body. And then with the momentum, I would pop this way and make her spin around. And then I wouldn't even slap the knife out of her hand. I would just guide the air around her so that she just like loses grip of it. And then I would push her onto the bed. And then as she's laying there on the bed, I would take a pillow and then I would put it on her head. And then I would proceed to violently punch her in the kidneys.
Yeah.
She said that she shot him first and then stabbed him. The wounds on his arms look like defensive cuts. Which means
so
she,
but
which means she was stabbing, and he had his hands in the way. If somebody shoots you,
the majority of the stab wounds were on the back.
So it looked like that she had cuts on his arms.
So okay, I don't know what these like. I haven't read the autopsy and how long has it been, but I know that there were stab wounds, or there were like cuts on his hands, right?
Yeah.
And there were a bunch of stab wounds on his back. He did go running through the house.
Looks like the cuts were here, one on his hand, one on his chest, one here in the center, which at that point he's dead, I would assume.
Yeah.
And one on his other hand. There was some on his back. There was one on his stomach at an angle. Like
there were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 stab wounds on his back. 1 on the back of his neck, and 2, I think, on the back of his head. And then there were a couple in the front, on his chest area, and on the side of his neck also.
Yeah, so
she shot him in the front. See, this is okay. So she shot him in the front of the head, right?
Yeah.
But there were stab wounds on the front and on the back. Do you think she started stabbing him in the shower?
I think that's what I was going to say. I think that she was stabbing him in the shower because some of the cuts were here, which to me indicates, she went to stab.
Well, I mean, it
would explain the face, like what the fuck, took a picture, of him before she started to stab him. And then he probably did one of these. And then he probably turned around because a lot of people in situations when they're in danger, they turn their back. I don't know what shitty instinct that is, but it looks like he turned around and that's what she proceeded to stab him in the back. And there was another one that went across. So I don't know if he ran out.
So I don't know if they ever got, because she never really fully explained what happened. She like maintained that she was running away from him. But there was blood all over like the sink and the mirror. So I don't know if he got like out of the shower and fell against, the mirror and then, like ran out of the bathroom. And then that's when, everything else starts getting covered in blood, the closet and the hallway and all that.
Also, a lot of those wounds were the entrance, well, except for the arms.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the entrance of those wounds were down. Like, I mean, like that up. I mean, they were going up, which means that, he's taller than her.
Well,
So when she was, yeah. So when she was stabbing upwards. So obviously he was standing up. If she was stabbing him as he was dead, they would have been straight because now she has this motion, right?
So,
and then I think that he was still alive, and he was probably moving, and she was like, "Fuck," So I think that's when she shot him.
She shot him, and then she took it even further, and she's like, "I'm gonna make sure," and she slit open his neck.
Slit open his neck. Which I did see the pictures. I don't recommend you guys watch them.
From ear to ear, almost decapitated him.
Yeah, and also, I'm looking at a picture right now.
Which one?
The one where she slit his throat.
Mm-hmm.
So the way it looks like the cut is not from here it's not here to here. The cut is up. So up. Obviously his head is back. Mm-hmm. And that's when she cut, and it looks like she missed a couple of times or couldn't work her way through the muscle. Mm-hmm. So there's like several cuts where she was like cutting over,
Well, yeah, it looks like she just like sawed through. Also, he's decomposing, so you can't really see too well. But
yeah, so if you look at those, if you look at his cuts on that body, they're defensive cuts.
Like on his
arms. On his arms, his hands, his wrists. He's got one here too, inside here, which means that he like put his hands way up, So when she said, "I shot him I shot him first," and that I think the reason why she said that was because her lawyer probably advised her, like, look, if you shoot him first, that's more merciful, and then you look less, less like an animal because he suffered less,
Well, yeah, but so they would still get her for like overkill.
Well, yeah. Well, they would get her for overkill, but it would paint a different picture.
Oh, I think it would get her for overkill either way, because.
So, yeah, if they were to say like, yeah, you shot him, and this is the thing, is in a lot of these cases, when a person is stabbed or bludgeoned to death, but there's also a gunshot wound, they will say, go with the gunshot wound first because they at least has like, he came after me and I defended myself. But then, why did you keep bludgeoning him? You shoot him in the face or you shoot him, and then out of fear, you began to stab him because you're so desperate. Instead of you attacking them as they're screaming, you're stabbing them multiple times, and then you shoot them because you're like, fuck, this guy isn't dead yet. It flips it. So the fact that I've heard her tell that story twice. Once during an interview, and I think one during I think it was like during the courtroom. It was audio only. When she told it to a reporter the second time, she's telling a story and she's blinking a lot, which means that she rehearsed it, mm-hmm. and she's just going through the motions, So it's so disgusting. Fuck, we have to do a part 2. I wanted to talk about the interrogation and then the courtroom. Okay. So that's where we're gonna leave it at. So she stabs him. There's conflicting. Yes, there's conflicting stories of and these conflicting stories come from her, by the way. She told different stories. One of them was like what you said, that he came after her. Mm-hmm. That and then she. How the fuck did it go?
She said that he was when he was in the shower.
Yes.
She said he was in the shower and that he lunged at her.
Yes. Okay.
Because she dropped the camera and he got so mad that he lunged at her and tried to attack her. She ran into the closet, climbed the shelves, got the gun, and shot him. But then that wouldn't explain why you stabbed him.
Have stabbed him multiple times. Yeah. She had nowhere to go. Like, this story made no sense. She fucked herself. So that's it. So we're gonna do part 2. We're gonna do her interrogation. We might even have like the weirdest parts of the footage of the interrogation. Mm-hmm. And also the interrogation to me was very interesting because you do see her almost like having a Rolodex of what has helped her in the past. You
Mm-hmm.
know, she goes, this is not working. Better switch to the next one. Better switch to the next one. Better switch to the next one. At some point, she, out of desperation, begins to become friendly with the interrogator. She laughs, like laughing, like this fucking guy just said you killed somebody, and
Yeah.
you're trying to be because she's like going through the book, like what am I gonna do?
Mm-hmm.
Eventually, she gives up and she realizes she's fucked.
Yeah.
You know. So, anyways, that's it, guys. So be sure to like and subscribe, share the show, check out the link tree. And that's it. And remember, guys, to always look both ways, especially if they call you the three-hole wonder.
Oh, jeez.